Hello everyone, it's time for me to declutter some more. I've been on this decluttering journey because I want my house back to minimalism. I don't want as many things as my house has accumulated over the years. At one point I was working hard to maintain a more minimalist lifestyle, but I kind of just relaxed, and when you relax and stop paying attention, you start to accumulate things. You have to stay vigilant and stay on top of it if you don't want your house overrun with too much stuff. Pardon the red face. It is 85 degrees in my dining room. My kitchen is hotter. I can feel a difference when I step into the dining room from the kitchen. So I am guessing my kitchen is probably sitting at about 90 degrees right now. I have a lot of tasks to do today, one of which is to open up a window air conditioning unit and clean it out. It has been stored in the basement and it smells mildewy, so I feel the need to thoroughly scrub the thing before I plug it in and start using it. So that is my next task after I do my bakeware and cookware decluttering. I also have plans to wash some wool garments. I picked up some woolite today, and I figured that's a good outside with the garden hose type of a task. I can set up a couple big buckets of water and out in the yard, and I can wash and then rinse and then carefully try to wring out, and I've got a drying rack that I'll set out and hang my wool items in the sunshine. So I have a really busy day ahead of me, but I really wanted to share with you my decluttering as I continue my decluttering journey. So first of all, let's talk about my cookware. I don't have a ton of cookware, so most of it I'm not gonna get rid of. I actually use most of it. There's a few pieces that I will declutter and get rid of just because they don't make sense, because they are redundant. But anyway, first of all, I have this big 8-quart stock pot. I can't get rid of this. We do use it on occasion for like big batches of chili, and I use it. My husband loves sweet corn, and it's a big enough pot that we can boil sweet corn. So this pot stays. So I'm gonna set this off to the side. Oh, and before I go further, the tea kettle stays. I'm not getting rid of the tea kettle. The pot that I use the most for pasta and for boiling chicken for the dog is this pot. It's just a plain Walmart Mainstays 5-quart pot from Walmart with a glass lid. I use this thing all the time for, like I said, boiling chicken for the dog and for spaghetti, because my husband likes spaghetti. I used to have a bigger spaghetti pot, but it broke. The handles broke off. It was really old. So I bought this one, and this one's slightly smaller. And my husband actually prefers that I cook small batches now because our son doesn't like spaghetti and I don't eat spaghetti. So those 2 pots I'm keeping. The next one that we use all the time, and we've had this pot over 20 years. My husband had this pot when I married him. He actually had, I think, 2 of them. He had a whole set, I think. And this is the last one left from that set, and we use that pot all the time. So that pot stays. Another one we do popcorn on the stovetop. So this pot here has to stay because the guys, they like their popcorn, and I'm not going to buy a popcorn maker. My kitchen is so tiny, I don't want an excess of appliances. This little pot takes up less space than a popcorn maker would. So I would rather and stovetop popcorn is literally the best. Not gonna lie. It's amazing. Next, I have this little bean pot. There is nothing I make in here that can't be made in the others. So I will donate this little bean pot. That'll be one less pot in my kitchen. This pot here, I absolutely love because it's so pretty. It's a little enamel pot. And this is the perfect size for cooking vegetables. So this one I'll cook like green beans or corn in for my husband, or peas for my son. So this pot stays because this is, and yes, I could literally just use the popcorn pan for that, but it's pretty and I love it. So it stays just because I love it. And instead of parting with that one, I'll just part with the two little ones. I've got these two tiny little Dutch ovens that, like, my son will cook like 1 can of soup in these little things, but he could easily also do that in this one. See the size difference? Or the popcorn pan. So these I will part with. So these will go, those will go over there to go into the donate box. And between talking about the different, like the bakeware and cookware, I'm going to pause the video to pull out the next batch of stuff. My kitchen is tiny, so I have a lot of, everything doesn't fit on the counters. So I'm going to have to stop and put away the cookware and then take out the bakeware. But before I go further, I'm not done with cookware. I have cast iron skillets. I have a big 12-inch and I have two 10-inch, and we cook almost everything in those cast iron skillets. So I'm not going to get rid of the cast iron skillets. I had a smaller one that I gave to my daughter when she moved out. The 12-inch I probably don't need because we got by with a deep 10-inch and then a regular 10-inch for the longest time. But my dad, before he died, he insisted that I had to have the 12-inch. I was like, I'm getting by just fine with the two 10-inch ones because I can like put them both on the stove. If you put a 12-inch skillet on the stove, you can't fit another pan on the burner next to it unless it's a little pan. So I had said, I really don't need the 12-inch. But before he died, he bought me a 12-inch. So I'm going to keep the 12-inch for now, but I may consider moving it to maybe the back porch closet or something and see if going back to just using the two 10-inch. If we go back to using the two 10-inch and I don't pull out that 12-inch and use it, then I think that I would be good to let go of the 12-inch. So for now, the 12-inch cast iron stays. Okay, I'm gonna move some stuff around and then we're gonna go through the bakeware. I have all of my bakeware laid out now.
Let me know if it's too loud.
Okay, we're gonna try that again. I had pressed play, but then my husband started talking to me from the other room. So I had to pause it again and figure out what it was he needed. I have my bakeware spread out all over the countertop. So there's two things that I'm just putting straight in the donate box because they've been in the basement for quite a while. This massive Corningware has been in my basement for 20 years. So clearly I don't need it. This Pyrex, I don't know how long it's been in the basement, but I found it sitting next to the Corningware. So clearly I don't need it because I didn't even know I had it. And while I was pulling bakeware from the top shelf of my cabinet, I pulled down some candy dishes. Don't use candy dishes. So I will add those to the donate box, as well as this gravy boat here that has geese on it, because also don't use that. When I make gravy, I put it in my big 4-quart Pyrex measuring cup because it's easier to pour and it has a handle. So I'm not fancy. I don't need a gravy boat. So those items there are going straight into the donate box. A couple other items that are going straight into the donate box. I have 2 pieces of Pyrex or Corningware that I don't even have lids for. They've been shoved to the back of the cabinet because there's no lids and we don't use them. So if I haven't been using them because I don't have lids, clearly I don't need them. So that's going to go in the donate pile. Okay, now I have Corningware that I use religiously. These two pieces, and I think I have another one this size in the fridge with some leftovers or something in it. So I've got actually 3 of this diameter. Those I'm going to keep because we use them all the time. And these 2 smaller ones I'm also going to keep because we use them all the time. We use them to put like leftovers into store in the refrigerator, and sometimes use them for baking stuff. So yeah, all of those I'm keeping. So I am just going to drop these down into the cabinet below me quick, just to get them out of the way. Okay, moving on. I have this massive glass Anchor Hawking baking pan. I use this around the holidays. So I'm going to keep it, but I may put it in the basement. And the same goes for my turkey roasting pan. These are 2 items that I always use for the holidays. So I can't get rid of them, but I can remove them from the kitchen since I only use them once or twice. I have 2 cake pans. A round one and a rectangle one with a lid. They're Nordicware. We use them for birthdays or holidays. If I'm making a cake, and we always bake our cakes. We don't buy cakes. So I need to keep my bake or my cake pans. Next, this is what I use for my green bean casserole every holiday. So that one can go to the basement and just not be in the main kitchen because I literally never use it except for around holidays. It's very, very handy. And then I have a smaller one, and I use this for roasting maybe a small amount of potatoes or vegetables in the oven, depending. So I'm going to put this in the keep pile. So both of my Pyrex roasting pans are definitely a keep. Pampered Chef muffin pan. I don't bake muffins, and it has a non-stick coating. I don't like non-stick. I won't use non-stick. So it sits there being not used. So it's going in the donate box. Next, I don't bake. I can't eat grains, and when I do bake, it's usually just a small batch of cookies, and there's no reason not to use like parchment paper or something on the counter to cool. I don't use these monsters, and they literally make it difficult for me to put anything in and out of the cabinet where I keep my pans. So I am going to donate those. I could use a smaller one, maybe half the size. Just one. So I may buy one cooling rack just for making bread, but these big monsters are way too big for what I use it for. Next, I have 2 pizza pans. Yes, I need 2 pizza pans. If I make homemade pizza for the family, I have to make 2 of them. This one, my grandma gave me when I was 18 years old. So this is, I'm turning 43 next month. This pan is old. And this one is a newer one that I had bought because I wanted a second one. So I am keeping the pizza pans. And the same goes for my Nordicware baking pans. We use the heck out of those. I did have some smaller ones that I got rid of because we didn't use them. So I have been good about occasionally getting rid of things that I don't use. Now, for the next part. I have a problem. I have buku pie pans in this box. Is a cast iron pie pan that has literally never been used. And then I have these. Yeah, they're wet. I just washed them. They were dusty because they sit and don't get used. So I am going to pick one pie pan and keep it. I think it'll be this glass one. The glass one makes sense. And then I can donate the other 2 pie pans. It's even worse than that. I actually have a 4th pie pan, but it holds my essential oils. So that one I'm keeping because it's full of essential oils. But I don't bake pies. The last thing I want to do in the world is bake pies. I love to bake cookies and cakes. I hate baking pies. So why would I own so many pie pans? Make it make sense. So I am going to keep this one. So I'll add it to the keep pile. And I'm going to donate these 2 pie pans. And then the last bakeware item, a casserole dish with a lid. I don't use this, but I'm going to keep it a little longer because I am getting rid of a bunch of other things, and this one would be handy around the holidays. So that may go. I have less Corningware than I thought too. So I may actually have to start using that casserole dish. So I think I'll keep it for now. But if I don't use it between now and the holidays, I think then I'm just gonna put it on the chop list. But I've got quite a few things that I'm just adding to the donate box, which is great. And 3 items going to the basement that are literally only used for the holidays. So that is my declutter for today. I'm going to end this so that I can go start my next chore, which is opening up and cleaning that window air conditioning unit so I can get that sucker plugged in because it is hot. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.